As you guys may have realized, Phase 4 has been a disaster with the exception of No Way Home, and if you're here from my previous video, we know in which ways. Now, with diminishing box office returns from almost all the films and probably most of the shows, the question is, why? I've heard lots of media outlets and people saying superhero fatigue, but we all know that's a load of bullshit. Writing and direction are to blame. More so, lack thereof. We've had bad writing all around the table. Sometimes you think the products were made by AI. Now, we can attribute this lack of good writing to a few things. One being constraints like time. An example, originally if not for COVID, Multiverse of Madness would have been written in 3 weeks. Possible, but not everyone is John Hughes. Even with all the time spared, they ended up writing on the go, changing the script before scenes. This isn't uncommon, but when you have to keep in mind that you're part of a large established world, it's near impossible without something Marvel writers lack: talent, knowledge, experience. That brings us to our second point, box checking and ESG scores. Let's face it, Disney's the wokest company out there, with paid shills out to defend their every move. Disney is also cheap. Whereas most of the budget will go to big names in the films rather than CGI and getting real writers and directors. All we have are SJW writers hired for their social views, regardless of talent or merit. Just look up most of the Phase 4 writing staff and you'll be quick to see they have very few credits to their name. Not a bad thing. You can be good right out of the gate. Take example on Christopher McQuarrie. But by taking a look at the writing staff's Twitter, everything adds up. They want to tell their own stories that push Victoria Alonso's all men are evil, women are strong, stunning and brave agenda, regardless of the harm it causes the world building, characters, or narrative. Could the checkboxes be circumvented? Even with seasoned writers, I'd say maybe. We know Marvel has a tight grip and they'd probably leave or be fired out of frustration like Scott Derrickson, with the same creative differences excuse. Although, with a looser grip, even abiding by the rules, it would be possible to craft good stories nonetheless. Not great stories, just good ones. That is, of course, if they cared. The next aspect to blame Phase 4's failure for would be direction, as in, where are we going and who the hell is running this production line? First off, the abundance of quantity is not the problem as long as quality is accompanying. Obvious, but let's make that clear. Marvel is trying too hard to keep this connected universe and overarching narrative. As I pointed out in my last video, we still don't know what started the multiverse. Now, the main issue with the overarching narrative is the people running the show weren't able to respect the order of things, messing up the entire process. Multiverse of Madness was supposed to be followed by Loki, then No Way Home. Due to a lack of direction from the heads, the already lacking writers have to concoct a new script to match the previous releases. If each film or show was its own independent thing, maybe it would be better. Then again, we also had a taste of that in Phase 4 and the world building was annihilated. A major problem arises when you realize no one behind it all has any passion for the characters created and source material. WandaVision showrunner and co-writer of Black Widow, Jack Schaefer, has even famously said she didn't know how to read a comic book. In the end, it all comes back to the competence of those running the show, but most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough, the lack of great writing. Even good writing for that matter. Phase 4's central theme was supposedly guilt and consequences. I just hope, in another multiverse somewhere, that they got the second half of No Way Home's quality character writing in every show and film. Thanks for watching everyone, and once again, thank you for making it to the end. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, consider subscribing and dropping a like. Till next time.